Hey guys, it's Limbo here. I hope you guys been doing well. And today's video is a different one because I'm not talking about gaming or Call of Duty or Battlefield 6. I'm just talking about mental health and depression, boys. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like this is something that a lot of YouTubers that I know, that I'm friends with, or even viewers of mine do suffer with. They just don't either acknowledge it or really know a lot about it. And I know it's no longer October. It's like, what, November 3rd when I'm recording this and, uploading this. But I think something that isn't really talked about is not even the Gen Z, like, mental health decline, but it's the men's mental health silence. Nobody really talks about men's mental health, no matter how big mental health awareness has gotten. The fact that, like, what, the rates of just, going to therapy, getting on medication, or taking the horrible and permanent way out, if you know what I mean. Like, all that stuff has either increased or been more talked about. But I think when it comes to guys, right, from guy to guy, not from like a guy to somebody older, hell, even like a therapist or even like a parent or a significant other, I think guys cannot come up to each other, even if they've been friends for 10 plus 20 plus fucking years, or like have gotten really close over dealing with some certain shit or some certain trauma or certain drama, shit like that. Like, I think no matter what, it is so hard to have a guy walk up to his friend, walk up to his best friend, and just open up, right? And obviously for me, I can't really speak on what that's like anymore because, dude, with my history and past of dealing with anxiety, taking my own life thoughts and all that stuff, and just dealing with depression at a very young age, like probably around 12 all the way to 16, 17, right before I really got over it. I was, fucking throwing shots like I'm Kobe Bryant in his prime over fucking three things that I wanted to end my life for. You know what I'm saying? And just like we're super depressed about. And I was chucking up these fucking air balls trying to get people to, like, not even open up, but just hear me out. And luckily, some of those fucking shots actually did connect and hit with some of my boys, right? I have two best friends, Jonzo and Simply Jewelhead. Shout out to them. I've been playing and known them for almost, what, 9-10 years now. I think for Simply Jewelhead, I've known him for well over 10-11 years, and then Jonzo I've known for 8 to 9 years now. And we've opened up with each other, but I don't think a lot of people, specifically within guys, have that luxury of having somebody that's another guy, that's another friend around their age range, like a year or two younger than them or older than them, where they can actually open up, right? And obviously this even sucks if you're in my situation where you're fucking single. And yeah, you could be in like a group of friends, a frat, especially if you're in college, or have somebody like, an advisor or a therapist or something like that that's a lot older than you, talk to and just like open up to. But I think one thing a lot of people within guys just don't really acknowledge is the fact that, like, there is a certain luxury to having a person around your age that you can open up to and just be honest with, depending, no matter what the situation is, right? I've talked to Jonzo and Drew about, relationships with my sisters, my brothers, my parents, with girls, with our other friends, right? We've had so many back and forths between arguments, fighting, how we felt about our relationship and friendship, right? And I don't think a lot of people within Gen Z, or just within my age group from like 18 to 26, 27 really have that, which is just insane to me. Because whenever I go to college, right, I meet somebody new and I give my top 3 icebreakers, which is, bringing up nicotine, alcohol, or gambling, because that's the 3 greatest degenerate traits that we have right now within college, which I'll probably make another video on about. But when I talk to other guys about this, and I'm like, yo, like, like, I've known you for a month or two now, we've taken tests together, we studied together, we've hanged out, right? Like, do you even have that? He's like, yeah, no, not really. And like, even then, when we move on from the class and we, either pass it or fucking fail it, right? I just never am able to get a hold of any of these friends that I'm making during college because they just don't want to open up. And I don't know, man, because I think we talk so openly about, hey, I'm dealing with anxiety, social anxiety, depression, or I'm having thoughts of just, doing something bad to myself. Like, we're so open about it, we make jokes about it, but I don't think a lot of guys around my age group or the people that I've met from college really act on it. Like, they just let that shit eat them alive and consume them over and over. And I think that's what's leading to such a high demographic and high rise into gambling, smoking, and drinking underage or even at age, right? It's at an excessive rate where these younger people who don't have jobs, who can't get an internship, or they're not passing classes, or they're just not having fun in life, they're spending most of their money on those three things. And obviously, I love to drink. I love to smoke, you know, like I love a good, you know, zin here and there. I love a good drink here and there. I love a few shots, and I love to give somebody a UFC parlay and make them $100. But I see a lot of people, from people I've known and guys I've known from high school, that are in other colleges like Alabama, Rhode Island, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Miami, right? Even Auburn, Texas, right? I know a lot of people that are, you know, from my high school, or even people I've met through my own college, that deal with that kind of stuff, but they don't really talk about it, right? Because I feel like even if you're in a frat environment where you pay to get in, or you're with a group of people, it is so hard to open up to them about shit that you're going through, because I feel like the notation and the thing that people, you know, the alarm that gets raised whenever they're like, oh man, I really need to talk to somebody or open up how I feel about something to somebody, especially when it's a guy around my age, like 20 years old, the first notification and mind alarm that pops off is like, what if this is too much for them? And what if I'm just trauma dumping? And obviously, I'm not trying to say, yo, trauma dump on everybody, right? I'm more saying that, like, yo, that's a good notification and just alertness and awareness to have. But I think you will know as a guy, as a person, when to open up and when you can open up to somebody, man. And if you don't know, you either keep that shit inside, or you just throw it out there and see what the fuck happens and if it sticks or not, right? And I think the worst option is to see what doesn't happen, and you have that shit eat you alive and stay in your mind and consuming, you know, your mental health, right? But I think one thing that I've heard and seen through Twitter, hell, even Reddit, and just YouTube comments and YouTube videos is that, yo, a lot of people, right, guys from all ages, people that are married, divorced, fucking single, around the ages of fucking 15 all the way to 40, right? There's some sort of level of depression that us guys just don't want to acknowledge or say that we have, because it's either the environment that we grew up in, the environment we're currently in, the group of people that we surround ourselves in, or just our current mindset where we tell ourselves, yeah, I don't need help. But in reality, you do. And I'm not saying that, like, you need to go on meds and go to fucking therapy, but I think it's something that you need to acknowledge, at least the bare minimum that you should do, 100% do as a guy or as a person, right? When it comes to mental health and depression, is that you acknowledge that you have it, and then you make the steps and create a plan in order to overcome it, have it be better, and have it be less of a fucking, you know, weight on your shoulder. Because I'm gonna be honest, boys, like, people turn to bad things, especially around my age right now, even if they're underage and have a fucking fake ID, and or, you know, they're legal to get certain shit. People just turn to bad things and bad methods, bad mindsets, bad everything, and it destroys them and eats them out from the inside to the point where it's ruining other relationships, like with their own parents, their own siblings, with their current friend groups or frat groups, right? And it's just insane to see. And I just wanted to talk about it and yap about it, because I just wanted to put it in somebody's mind, at least one person's mind that's watching this video, because, dude, I think it's safe to say everybody in their life, guy, girl, fucking whatever age you are, wherever you are in life, you deal with some sort of super duper sadness, which is called depression. And, like, people just don't acknowledge it. And I feel like it's mostly for guys, because, dude, they don't want to open up. They don't want to fucking talk about it, but they should, because at the end of the day, it's better to get over it as soon as possible and make it a less long event and longer feeling than, you know, keeping that shit inside you and not letting it out and let it consume you for a longer period of time, right? I think the best thing that I've been told from my two best friends and one of my father figures from high school that I'm still in contact to today is the fact that, like, depression, thoughts to, you know, do something to yourself, or anxiety, or not really anxiety, but like the first two things, right? They are such a temporary feeling and phase, right? It's not a forever thing unless you make it a forever thing, which is why I said earlier that, like, the first step to beat depression for 90% of people, depending on the severity of it and, you know, their background and what they've had to deal with in life, the first step that they need to take is to acknowledge it. Because once you acknowledge it, then you can say, hey, what can I do to overcome it now and beat it? And, you know, maybe that's a too fucking heroic way to look at it, because depression is a fucking dark, gloomy, not fun thing. But that's probably the most neutral, most positive thing that you can say and think about when it comes to depression if you want to overcome it and want to get over it. Because I feel like at the end of the day, nothing gets done unless you acknowledge it. It's like saying, oh my God, I have an addiction problem, right, with gambling, or looking up, you know, fucking feet pics, or some crazy shit, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, you want to get over it, right? You have to acknowledge it first in order to move on and get over it. It's as simple as that, right? Like, for me, one of my biggest fears was driving on the highway. And, like, for the longest time, whenever I had my license, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to drive because I'm just too scared. And I wouldn't admit it to others. But then when I started admitting it to others, right, and I acknowledged it, I was like, okay, let me see how I can get better at this. I'm able to take the fucking, you know, exit, merge. I'm able to go like 80, 90 miles per hour if it, you know, fucking calls for it, if I'm in a rush and I want to get to places. I'm more confident in myself while I'm driving on the highway. All because I took the first step in acknowledging that I'm scared of it. You know what I'm saying? Right? Another thing that I've got scared of and gotten better at was the fact that, like, hey, I am an absolute backseat driver and control freak whenever I'm not the one driving the car. Like, I never go to sleep anymore. I'm always freaking out. I used to, at least. But then I acknowledged it, and I was like, okay, let me take some deep breaths when I'm in the fucking front passenger seat or just in a passenger seat, right? And I think that's one of the biggest things that I've done as a 20-year-old college person trying to get his degree while doing YouTube for depression, right? Like I said, I think I had it during 12, really got diagnosed and acknowledged it while I was 14, and it took me like a good 3 years to get, not over it, but like to have it in the place that it's in now, where, yeah, there's periods of, you know, times where I'm super duper sad and depressed and I just want to fucking, you know, put myself 60 miles per hour through a fucking goddamn tree. But then I acknowledge it so quickly to the point where, like, oh, let me do things that make me happier. I think one big thing that I did over the last 3 years from 17 to 20 to get where I'm at when it comes to dealing with depression personally for me is just being able to open up when I have to. And then secondly, knowing what I have to do in order to get over it, right? Like, for example, I was going through it with my major, man. As you guys know, I was in not computer science, but information technology, and everything got replaced with AI around me. Like in New Jersey, where I'm close to, like 30, 45 minutes out, right? Everybody's getting replaced with AI. I hit up alumni people that I know from my college. They all got replaced from AI. And I'm like, damn, I'm fucking super duper depressed about the future of my career and how I'm going to make a fucking living, right? Because I put, what, a good 2 years already into IT just for it to get replaced by AI. Now, I freaking acknowledged that over the summer, this past summer, and I switched my major to social media and PR, and I feel happy. And obviously, AI is taking over content, but at the end of the day, I don't think, you know, I don't think a lot of the social media presence and content creation people really fuck with AI, right? And thank God for that. Hopefully that doesn't change. But all in all, what I did to beat like my latest fucking Great World War fucking 29 with depression for me personally was just like acknowledge it, take action, and you know, reach out to people that could help me or that I could open up to and talk to, right? And it all helped me get to where I'm at today, where like, hey, I can fucking deal with it and quickly get it down and lessened and just make myself in a happier state, right? And I feel like one thing just all guys need to do, one thing to take away from this video if you're a guy is to just not even, you know, go absolute super duper crazy mode because you're gonna freaking burn yourself out, but like take one day, every single day, one step at a time. Take every single day that you have dealing with it or trying to get over it or trying to get, you know, recover from it and get better from it. Take it one day at a time because it's a slow and gritty process. And like I said earlier, it's not a forever feeling. It's not a forever phase. But if you're able to chip away at it every single day, it's going to fly by insanely fast. But yeah, man, I just wanted to yap about mental health and depression because it's been something that I've been noticing and just talking to, you know, some of my best friends about. So yeah, but drop a like, hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of my take as a 20-year-old college kid. And yeah, it's been your boy Limbo though, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this different kind of video. But I'll see you guys next time. Peace.